Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Real or Real podcast. This is a podcast where we like to talk about spooky things, and we also like to talk about true crime things and, tell you little stories about some weird stuff that happens. And, sometimes it's a real story. Other times, it's a fictional storyline to something. So, it's up to you and my co-host, Pixie Dusted, to figure out which is which. My name is Bone Dragon, and joining me, as always, is the ever-lovely
Pixie Dusted.
Pixie's got a new microphone now, don't you?
And it's wearing a sock.
Yeah, Pixie has a thing about naming things weirdly. And when I told her that we had to get a windscreen for her microphone, she called it a mic sock.
Yes, it is a mic sock.
Yeah. Well, today we actually have some guests. We have a couple of guests, actually. They are the hosts of the Midnight Oil podcast, which is a fun little show. Today we are conjuring up into the voodoo dolls. We have Keeg and Tab.
Hey.
Woo, yippee.
What's up, you all?
What's up?
What's up? I'm super excited.
Are you now?
I'm super excited. I've watched a couple of the episodes here and there because we've been trying to do this forever.
Well, you're here now. And that's all that matters, is as long as you're here in the end, right?
That's right.
We made it.
So, for those of you who don't know, what is the Midnight Oil podcast?
It's a podcast where we tell your stories, usually unexplained stories about
No, not their
anything
stories.
Paranormal. Yeah, you, the listeners.
Well, I mean,
Their
sometimes
stories.
our stories.
Well, yeah,
sometimes.
you're all stories too. Mostly you're all stories.
We're used to being on our own podcast. We should say this is the first time that we've been on another podcast.
Well, you.
Okay. This is the first time I've been on another podcast. So it's very different, and it feels very much like it's like the same vibe where we're just having a conversation. It's really easy.
And that's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
Whenever we do our podcast, it's just like we're just sitting there talking about stuff. And I don't know. I enjoy telling people about these weird things that happen. If you watch my YouTube channel, my most successful show is History 101 What the F. That's a whole nother thing, which, yes, I know I need to put out a new episode. Everybody keeps reminding me. But, I like doing that. And I like, the weird conversations that come from it.
So going back to it, where can we find Midnight Oil?
You can find Midnight Oil essentially anywhere. We do streams on Sunday nights at 11 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/Midnight Oil Entertainment. You can also find us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. We've kind of revamped everything. So we are actually just now going to be releasing our first reboot season of episodes actually next week or tonight. I don't remember. But whenever you hear this, it's probably out already. But you can find us at Midnight Oil Podcast now, I believe.
Correct. We have switched pretty much everything over to Midnight Oil Podcast.
Oh, okay. So it's not Midnight Oil Entertainment anymore on some things, and then Midnight Oil on other things.
So
Well, it
what?
is.
That streamlines everything. That makes it much nicer, much easier to find.
Well, a small inside scoop for everybody. We've done a lot of restructuring, and Midnight Oil as a whole is essentially a media company. that Tab and I have kind of conjoined together to make. And we decided that the podcast was the easiest way to kind of enter into that without, being in person. Because doing a YouTube channel with two people that are not in the same space is a little more complex. And we thought that the podcast was just more fun anyway. So we started doing that. And then, we were like, there's other stuff that we want to do. So Midnight Oil Entertainment hosts the Midnight Oil podcast, which is now where you can find all of our podcast stuff. And if you would like to submit a story, you have a story that you want to tell that is paranormal, supernatural, whatever it may be, you can also email us at midnightoilentertainment@gmail.com, or any of our links that you find. You can probably find the submission there.
All right, everybody, I've got a crazy story for you tonight. You're going to absolutely love it. So,
do you have any content warnings?
Actually, yes. There's going to be mentions of murder, kidnapping, sex slavery, child pornography, and
Also,
a military coup. So, with that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into this story.
Yahoo!
Let me tell you a story.
All right, everybody. So this story is absolutely insane. I've never heard of anything like this before in my entire life. And just so you all know, it is a fresh story, as in it's still happening. They're still trying to figure out what to do with this situation.
Whoa.
But
so there's going to be a whole lot of allegedly.
Yes.
Oh, you're hot off the press with this.
Yeah.
It is, the court case, I don't think it's even gone to court yet. But it's something that just it's insane. It is absolutely insane. I heard about it and said, we have to do this. My lovely Pixie and my always awesome Midnight Oil hosts, I would like to introduce you to two men.
Why, thank you.
I have a man.
man.
I'm good.
You shouldn't have.
Their names are Gavin and Tanner.
Has anyone seen Gavin?
They're both around 20, 21, and they live in the Dallas area of Texas. Around 2024, it doesn't say which one, but one of them gets a crazy idea. And they decide, you know what? Let's take over an island. Just the two of us. Let's just take over this entire island. So they started planning a coup on the island. They started coming up with ideas of how they could go about doing this. And one of them says, well, what's going to need to happen is, all right, so Gavin says, all right, if we're going to do this, we need to have some kind of military knowledge. We need to know how to go about doing this. So I'm going to join the military so that I can get some tactical experience and we can, figure out how we can plan this out. All right.
Yeah, because that's a good reason to enlist. I want to steal an island. Let me go
about
enlist.
to say the same thing. No, that's not in the top 10 list of why I would enlist to the military.
I know, right? Well, I mean, I really can't say much. I joined because of a girl, but at least mine was a little bit more believable. But,
you didn't want to start any coups?
No. I mean, later on, maybe, but Not initially. That wasn't in the 5-year plan. So, but here's the thing that gets me. Okay, I'm a veteran. I have nothing but respect for anyone who decides to put on the uniform. I absolutely, I don't love the military, but at the same time, I do respect anyone who's willing to die for their nation. I'm fine with that. Okay. Given so, I also understand that there are certain jokes that we all kind of tell back and forth to each other. And one of the things is that if you want to learn how to be a badass paramilitary mercenary, basically, which branch do you think you would join?
Marines. The answer is Marines.
Marines.
I was gonna say the SEALs.
Well, I always forget that the Navy, the SEALs. Oh wait, those are the same.
The SEALs,
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
Yes, I always get the Navy and the Marines mixed up because I thought that they were both in the water.
They're a division of the Navy.
Are.
I see.
The Marines are a division of the.
And the SEALs are a division of the Marines.
Oh,
yes,
I see.
Yes.
So, pretty much the same way that the Air Force came from the Army, the Marines came from the Navy. Same deal. But anyway, so there's always been this underlying idea when it comes to the military. There's the Army, who are pretty much, they're pretty. They'll be boots on the ground and they'll be doing their thing and everything. They've got their deal, but they're more of a command, role where they're there in the battlefield, but they're not the ones on the front line just yet. Okay. The Marines are the ones who are going in there first. They're putting in the fight. They're taking land. They're taking names. They're kicking ass, all that stuff. The Navy, of course, is the Navy. They're in charge of water, and they're on the ships. They're in the submarines. They're doing all that stuff. And oh my God, if you've ever been in a submarine, that sucks. Having to be deployed in a submarine sucks.
I was almost in a submarine.
Was it one run by a scientist who thought that he could go down to see the Titanic?
No, it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't that one. No, I almost enlisted in the Navy. They made it sound like a vacation, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yes, of course they're going to do that. Dude.
And they were like, you're perfect. You're like the perfect size to go onto a submarine or in a tank. I'm like, okay.
One of our cadences starts with my recruiter told me, and it's a song about all the lies that your recruiter will tell you to get you to sign. But okay, so the Marines are the badasses. The Army is the kind of command, boots on the ground stuff. The Navy is in charge of the seas, and they're also the Navy is very well known for flying jets, right? If all of that is encompassed with those three branches of military, where do you think that the Air Force stands in this?
Aren't they the ones that eat crayons?
No, that's
no.
the Marines.
I think the Marines are the crayon eaters.
Oh, okay.
Air Force are the ones who have lobster in their mess hall.
Oh,
isn't that a bad thing? Lobster, steak and lobster?
No, I've always liked steak and lobster.
What?
No,
Do you like
supposed
steak
to.
and lobster? Hello?
It's
I
supposed
thought
to
that was
say
a scary thing.
no. It's supposed to be like they're the spoiled ones, the ones that don't ever see any real action, the ones that get
They're
the better
pencil
things.
pushers.
Yeah.
So this guy.
That's what's said about them.
It's
Space Force.
It's part of the joke. It's part of the joke that the Air Force doesn't do much. Now, in reality, in reality, that's not really true. When you're Air Force, you're just as military as anybody else. You've got a job to do, blah, 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 all that stuff. Because
Well, I'm pretty sure in reality the Marines also don't eat crayons.
No, not at all. But
Yeah,
that is the joke.
But if they do, it's okay. I'm not judging.
But
I would try a crayon.
well, but I've
Tab.
got a
tried
contract
crayons.
for you to sign.
I'm pretty sure you have eaten crayons, Tab.
And Play-Doh.
And
Play-Doh.
butter.
And Play-Doh.
And clay.
And sticks
Yes.
of butter.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so
Okay.
Gavin decides he's going to join the military to become this tactical badass so that he can figure out, the best way to go about doing all this stuff. And okay, we're going to take over this island. We need tactical knowledge. I'm going to join the Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah, he joins the Air Force. Well, that's okay. That's okay, because at least he's got some kind of not quite on the path, but he's kind of, adjacent to the right path. Tanner, the other guy, he says, okay, if you're going to do that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a volunteer fireman so that I can
Okay.
learn to put out fires.
Tanner's just in it for the calendars.
Yeah, probably.
He wants to be on that calendar.
The pole.
Yeah, he's in it for the poll.
Oh,
I would.
come on now. But, you'd think so. Anyway, so the problem is Tanner, he doesn't quite make it. How do you fail out of being a volunteer fireman? Once again, no insult to volunteer firemen, by all means. Hell yeah, good on you. I love you to death. But you've got Gavin over here who's joining the Air Force to get some tactical knowledge and whatnot. And then you got Tanner over here who's joining the fire department for reasons. And Tanner, who has the easier job of the two, still can't make it. Fails out.
He caught himself on fire.
Probably something stupid like that. I
Then.
can't remember what it was. But okay, so could you just imagine that conversation that you're having where, you got Gavin who's off on some military post somewhere learning how to be an airman, and Tanner calls him up and he's like, all right, man, Gavin's over here like, man, here's what I'm learning. Here's what we're doing. It's going to be all good. We're cool. So how's progress on your side? And Tanner's like, well, about that.
Yeah, man, I didn't make it.
I'm on a calendar.
Not the good calendar. Not the one that people are actually buying, but, I guess they had some kind of conversation because, Tanner, he says, you know what? Since I failed out of this, you know what I'll do? I'm going to learn how to fly a plane. Because, we're going to have to fly there. We're going to have to, figure out some way to get us there. So I'm going to learn how to fly, how to be a pilot, and we'll fly a plane there. Okay? He's looking it up and he's trying to figure out the best way to learn how to be a pilot. And he finds out about this piloting school in Thailand.
I absolutely thought you were going to go in the direction of saying he bought Flight Simulator on his
Boy,
PS5.
you think so. Honestly, that makes more sense than what actually happens.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay.
So, because, I remember when I was a kid, there was a Flight Simulator on computer, and if you got the right peripheral equipment, you could actually learn how to do this stuff. You're not, it's basically, it is a flight simulator. You have to do everything, right? He finds out about this school in Thailand where he could go learn how to be a pilot. So he says, all right, Gavin, I'm going to go to Thailand and I'm going to learn how to be a pilot so I can fly us into this island and we could take over. Okay? So he goes to Thailand. I'm assuming Daddy bought him tickets to go to Thailand or something. I don't know. But they fly to or he flies to Thailand. And he looks to enroll in this flight school.
Okay, so quick question. Gavin's in the Air Force. I was under the assumption that everyone in the Air Force, whether they were going to be a pilot or not, learned the basics of how to fly.
No?
Okay.
No.
All right, well, that makes sense then.
No,
okay.
You do not.
I was kind of thinking along the same path. I was like, is he not going to learn how to fly too? Like, they're just both going to know how to fly? All right, good.
So, like, that point did need clarification. Okay, good.
You could learn to be a crewman, where basically you learn your job in the crew so that you could fly with people and whatnot, but you're not going to learn how to fly an aircraft. So, anyway, Tanner flies to Thailand, and he starts looking at this school, and suddenly he notices a major monkey wrench in their plan. If he wants to go to this school, he's going to have to pay for it.
Dun, dun, dun. Did he expect it to be free?
Like, what?
Yeah. Bro was expecting a full ride scholarship. He didn't even apply for one.
I don't know what the deal was, but apparently what it is he thought that it wasn't going to be as expensive as it was. So, and I'm not talking about, it's, $300 a class, and I thought it was only going to be $250. No, he for real thought that he could just cough up $50, take a certificate class, and learn how to be a pilot.
Because that's safe. That's super safe.
I'm telling you now, the problem in this plan, first of all, it's a stupid idea. Secondly, the problem here, if they were to try to pull this off, is Tanner. Tanner's the problem. Tanner is the issue here.
And I'm sure that sentence has been said multiple times before about people named Tanner.
Oh, absolutely.
Could you imagine you're getting on your first commercial flight and you look at the pilot, he's got his hat on, and you're like, man, I'm really excited to get to Florida or whatever. And you shake the pilot's hand. You're like, thanks for doing this. I'm glad to be in good hands. And he's like, oh, no, this is my first time. And they're like, oh, really? Well, you've had a lot of training, right? And they're like, yeah, I mean, I got I took a class.
Weekend course.
This $50 certificate.
It was a $50 certificate class, so
they let anyone do this.
We played a whole lot of Call of Duty. It'll be okay.
And then he tells you, take your seat. What do you mean, brother?
Then you go to sit down, and suddenly you hear from the cockpit, what the hell is that?
What's that beeping?
All right, so Tanner, for some reason, just cannot understand the idea that he has to pay for a class to learn how to fly, because anybody can just do that, right? So their plan probably is put on hold because, first of all, Gavin has to serve his military time, and Tanner apparently is too stupid to live. And not only is he not able to afford taking these classes, he also is not able to afford how to get home.
So now he's stuck in Thailand.
He's stuck in Thailand.
Oh my god!
And where was he originally?
He was in Texas.
Okay.
Both of these guys are from Texas.
Yeah, sounds like he's going to have to join the Navy.
Or start a TikTok career about him being stuck in Thailand. That would work.
And honestly, he'd probably get more success that way.
Yeah.
But okay, so
day one of being stuck in Thailand.
So they're planning. They're trying to figure all this out, right? Like I said, this is a fresh story. Details are they're just now coming out. So I'm not sure how this happened, but Tanner did eventually find his way back to Texas from Thailand. I'm assuming that he probably walked. But, I mean, it shouldn't take long. That's like, what, half an hour?
That's
Sure. Like you can walk across the state of Texas in a couple hours.
Absolutely. I mean, I've done it before.
Sure.
But, okay, so he makes it back to Texas. And Gavin is, he's done with his training, and he's posted at an Air Force base in Texas. So, lucky, Normally in a situation like this, you would look at each other and say, okay, first of all, this plane is stupid. Secondly, it looks like it's falling apart. How about we just not do this, right? You would think so.
No, they sound like the kind of people that would be hanging out in the basement making all these big plans and thinking they can actually do these things. They very much have that vibe.
So they didn't. They doubled down on the situation. They absolutely doubled down on it. What they decided to do was they were going to go to Washington D.C. to try to figure out some way that they can acquire the stuff that they need, like the weapons, the transportation, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, because everybody knows there's a giant weapons cache in Washington, D.C.
But
that's where we keep all the... Uh-oh. Now all the enemies of the country know that's where we keep all of our weapons. At the White House in Washington, D.C. So if you want to take out our defenses...
Allegedly. In Minecraft.
Yes.
We're not saying to do that, but should someone decide to do that, then, they very well could. Anyway. Hey, Pixie, do us a favor and get us off of the FBI tracker list, okay? We don't want to be on it. We want to be off of it, all right? Anyway, so they decide that they're going to go to Washington, D.C. to try to figure out how they can, get this plan to work. And while on their way there, they come up with an idea that actually makes it where this plan could actually work. They could do this. It is within their grasp. And they actually have a really, really good idea on how to make this happen. Okay? Their plan is to militarize the homeless people of Washington, D.C. to help them take over this island.
Oh.
So they're going to build an unhoused army. All right.
Yes.
What the heck?
Okay.
Hey, they're hiring the homeless.
There we
Put them to
go.
use, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, getting them off the streets,
Yeah.
I respect it.
But the idea was, the initial plan for this whole thing is, once they were done taking over the island, what they were planning on doing, and this part is actually kind of sick, not in a "wah, sick" kind of way, but like, dude, there's something wrong with you kind of way. They planned on killing all the men, like all the men, and they were going to enslave the women and children.
What?
The occupants that are already on the island, or this unhoused army that they're taking with them?
The people that are already on the island.
So the indigenous people of
Yes.
this island that they're trying to take over. Okay. So they're colonizers.
Yeah. They're basically
All right.
wanting to go to this island, kill all the men, turn the women into sex slaves. The women and children into sex slaves is what they're wanting to do. And they were going to, their idea was to make adult films on this island and try to sell them to various places. Okay?
Okay, so like this is the first time ever that I almost wish that it was not an audio only thing, because if you could see my face.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
It's the weirdest thing
Wow.
I've ever heard of in my entire life. But here is, once again, one of the great ideas that they came up with. They were going to do this to a population of 81,000 people on this island.
What?
Just the two of them and their
Yes.
homeless army.
Yeah, okay.
The two of them and their
What?
homeless minions are going to take
This
over
sounds like
this island.
something. This sounds like something that you would like hear some like guy in his 50s or 60s on Reddit who's like already been in the military, that's been through PTSD. He's bored. Like that. It sounds like one of those like pipe dream random things that you hear some senile person wanting to do. And these guys are just doing it. And
he-
they're in their 20s.
And he's typing it out from his prepper bunker.
Well, I mean, here's the funny thing.
Underneath his
When you're in
house.
the military, you know those guys. They're like the 50, 60-year-old guy who's been in the military his entire life. I'm sorry, he's a reservist now, and he's got that pot belly. He's walking around, we could take over an island in Haiti if we really wanted to. And it's like, no, we can't, Bob. No, we cannot, But this was the plan. They were going to take over this island. They were going to kill all the men. They were going to enslave the women and children and basically make adult films to sell across the globe on this island. They were going to make Porno Island is what they were going to try to do. This is the kind of thing that can only come from two of the stupidest people in Texas that I once again, nothing against Texas, but all of this alleged plan was the work of these two guys from Texas, and it was, oh my God, the more I read about this, the more I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you? Okay, so they're in Washington, D.C., and they're trying to book a boat to take them to this island while also recruiting the homeless of Washington, D.C. to be their minions. And they were also trying to figure out how they could get their hands on weapons and ammunition.
I have to wonder what they were planning on offering the unhoused people to get them to agree to do
I don't
this.
know. I mean, I'm willing to bet, knowing knowing these dingleberries, they're probably thinking that they'd be able to get them to join by, I don't know, giving them a sandwich or something, which,
pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
My whole thinking was that they were going to have them live on the island.
I mean, realistically speaking, sure. But, just talk about how stupid these two are. They probably were like, hey, we'll give you some McDonald's.
Hey, here's a gun, man. Let's go ham.
I'll get you something from the $5 meal deal, okay? Just take this gun, get on the boat. All right?
Got any plans later? Nah. Like,
I know I don't.
Like, what?
So what do you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, like, what?
All right, so how do you think that this went over? With
obviously
the first few homeless people that they talked to about this plan.
I want to say some of them probably agreed.
Do you think that they would agree?
I mean,
maybe some of them. Maybe some of them, like one or two.
I think they want to get paid.
I feel like, I would have to know more details about what they're being offered to know if they would agree or not,
Well, once again, that's one of the details that we really can't.
The homeless people, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like we've all been in areas where you see a pretty good amount of homeless people. Those guys, they'll cut you a deal, but they need something.
Absolutely.
They'll do
that's
this.
Everybody. That's, and nobody's going to do anything for nothing, That's
right.
Right.
I mean, nobody's going to do anything like that for free, especially when you're being told, hey, you're going to help us with a coup to take over this Haitian island. And we're going to kill people, and we're going to do horrible things to the ones that are left.
Now, see, if they explained the plan like that, then probably none of them said
yeah. But if they explain the plan, hey, do you want to come with us on this boat and go live on this island? And that's all they said. Then maybe a few of them probably said, yeah, okay, cool,
sure,
I'll do that.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. We may get into a fight, so I'll give you a gun, just in case.
I mean, that sounds a little bit more...
couldn't be worse than what we're going through now.
That sounds a little bit more palatable. I'd be okay with that. That's not what they did.
Go figure.
No, they basically started going around to all the homeless people in Washington, D.C., and were basically explaining the entire thing on the idea that these homeless people were going
in D.C.?
They were villain monologuing to everybody.
That's crazy.
They were going to these homeless people.
Bro should have just gotten on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And I guess they were telling them, hey, we've got a home for you. We just got to take it first. So, oh my God. So, I don't know about you all, but, the homeless people that I've met, they fit into one of two categories. There's the ones who think that their shoe is a banana, and then there's the ones who are actually really good people. They just fell on hard times, The homeless people that they talked to, the very first group of homeless people that they brought this idea to, basically looked at these two idiots and said, what the hell is wrong with you?
Valid response. Yeah. Genuinely.
Exactly. They're like, what the hell? So, of course, they're just sitting there smiling and nodding and being like, oh, my God, these two are insane. And after the two guys, they sell their pitch. Could you imagine, going up to a bunch of unhoused people with a slideshow and doing a PowerPoint presentation to be like, okay, this is the island that we're going to take over. Now, here are the benefits. here's some, we could run into some problems here, maybe some snags, but, benefits, like doing a whole sales pitch on this,
Ultimately, profits look good for this, guys.
I feel like it's more like of a timeshare sales pitch like they used to do back in the 80s and 90s.
Given that it's a Haitian island, I could totally see that happening. But I'm willing to bet that they probably thought, hey, we could get these people in on it because, it gives them somewhere to live. And like the first group that they talked to were like, no, there's something wrong with you. We need to do something about this. So after they were done talking to them and being like, hey, think about it and get back in touch with us, here's my card. And then you look at the card, it's just like a little piece of paper with a name scrawled on it, But like, in crayon. And the homeless people are like, yeah, okay, bye. Have a good day. And then they just stop and look at each other. They're like, so we're going to the police on this, right?
I pictured Tanner making up the business cards and Gavin sitting there going, what do you do with my crayons? I was going to eat those later.
That was my lunch.
Duh, bro, you got any more red?
I really like the green ones.
The red ones give you cancer.
I only got one in my pack.
The yellow ones. If you eat 5 of the yellow ones, they make your balls shrink. All right, so the unhoused people are looking at each other and they're like, we're going to the police on this, right? And they all just unanimously were like, yes, we have to tell somebody about these two. They're insane. And the police are like, oh, well, that sounds like a whole list of federal charges that we could slap onto somebody, so let's do that. And the police set up a sting to basically dress up a bunch of police officers as unhoused individuals and wait for these two boys to show up and give them their sales pitch, at which point they will seem like that they're interested, and then once they get enough from them, they will arrest them. The police do this. And sure enough, these two idiots come along and allegedly give their sales pitch to, hey, we want to take over this island and we want to kill all the men and we want to turn the women and children into sex slaves and force them to film adult movies with us that we could sell across the globe. You want in? And the undercover officers are like, that sounds interesting. How do you plan on getting there? How do you plan on doing this? And, Gavin's like, well, I just happen to be a Air Force airman, and I've got some tactical knowledge on how we could take this island and everything. And, so that's taken care of. Plus, we plan on chartering a boat that'll take us there. And, maybe Daddy will pay for that. And, and the police are like, oh, okay, cool. So are we going to use weapons in this? And Tanner's like, oh yeah, I mean we're planning on buying some weapons before we go, and we're looking for some military grade weapons if anybody knows anything. We could toss up. Well, let's see here. I was going to pay $100 for that weekend course on how to fly, and that fell through. So I could probably our trip to DC took about $50 in gas. So if anybody knows anybody that could sell us, military weapons for around about $50, that'd be fantastic.
How are you only spending $50 in gas to get from Texas to Washington, D.C.?
I think it's very obvious that these two just absolutely suck with numbers.
They had a Prius.
They stole Daddy's electric car
and his gold card.
And his gold card. But
yeah.
All right. So the police at this point have heard enough, and so they give whatever the word is that they, their code word, and they're bum rushed with all these police officers, and they come in and arrest these two total narnars and take them to jail. And
they were bum rushed? That's ironic.
Right. So they get these two to the police station. The police are going over this plan with them, and of course the two boys are like, we're not doing this. No, why would we ever do that? I mean, that just sounds dumb. Just, come on. What kind of a plan is that? That's just stupid, And, here, explain the plan to us again so that we can all have a good chuckle over this. And so the police are like, you wanted to take a bunch of homeless people on a boat ride to a Haitian island of 81,000 people and take over the island, kill all the men, make the women and children into sex slaves so that you could have an international porn ring. Allegedly. And so they're, I could just imagine Gavin's like, no, what? Just listen to that. How stupid does that sound? And then suddenly Tanner's like, yeah, dude, that was the plan all along. Like right there in front of the cops, So that's pretty much where we're sitting now. Gavin and Tanner have hired a lawyer, and the lawyer, the only defense he has that he could think of is to basically say, this has got to be the dumbest plan I've ever heard in my entire life. Who honestly thinks that they could get away with this? That's the only defense that they have at this moment, because they can't come up with anything else. Oh, and they're being charged with conspiracy to murder, maim, or kidnap in a foreign country, production of child pornography, and intent to commit a coup against a foreign nation. So those are the charges that they're facing.
Those are some pretty major charges.
Yeah,
big ones. Like that could get you. You'll be disappeared. This the kind of stuff that'll happen. But once again, only in Trump's America. All right, so that's our story. Tab, Keeg, Pixie, do you think that this is what we refer to as an A? Do you think that this is real, as in a real report of something that happened? Or do you think that it is an E, the fictional storyline of a movie, book, comic book, video game, whatever?
Oh man, this is hard because there's some real nutheads out there. I'm gonna go with that. This is a plot for a independent film.
Okay, so Keeg says
As
that it's an
stupid as
E.
it sounds, I think I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
A. Like, I mean, man, I don't know. I feel like there's no way it could be an A, so that's why I'm gonna go
Okay, so you're going with the absolute absurdity of the situation. It's an A.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with Keeg on this one. I'm gonna say it's an E because this just it very much reminds me of like a Dumb and Dumber movie, and it's too crazy and out there.
All right, so Keeg and Pixie are both saying E, and Tab is saying A because of how absolutely ridiculous. Who could think up such a stupid idea, right? Well, the answer is
Drum roll.
it is an A. This really happened.
Yo.
No
Yeah,
way.
Wow.
These are real people making real idiotic decisions that we allow in our society?
Yes. November 21st, the Associated Press put out an article talking about how these two absolute chuckleheads were arrested for trying to seize power at Gonavi Island. And I'm sorry, the number of residents, I was wrong. It's not 81,000 people. It's 87,000 people. They were going to, their plan was that they were going to kill all the men.
Maybe they started breeding already.
Oh, you'd think so. But anyway,
They had a boom in the population.
290 square miles.
Maybe that's because some of the unhoused people were already shipped over there to start the army.
Yeah, they told their buddies.
Send them on ahead.
But the thing is that Gavin, and yes, these are their real names. Gavin had actually been dishonorably discharged for mouthing off to his commanders.
Well, that's not surprising.
And
Yeah,
no,
I'm
not
not
at all.
surprised at that
But,
at all.
yeah, this was an A.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yay, Tab!
All right,
Tab. That's insane, though.
Congratulations.
I think that needs to end that question. Congratulations?
Yeah. Well, you know what this means? This means that we will have to have Midnight Oil come back again in the future for another podcast so that perhaps Keeg can redeem himself.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And guess correctly.
I mean, even if I don't, the fact that is a real story that I now just have been told and know is worth its weight in gold. That is these guys went to a homeless population. One went into the Air Force just for the bit, and the other one went to Thailand, didn't know how to get back, finally got back. They said, "Hey, homeless people, we have an idea," broadcasted the whole thing in Washington, D.C., and then got packed up.
Yeah. And
Your life is forever changed.
They were actually going to try to, allegedly, they were going to try to do this.
Wow.
But they are pleading not guilty. And their only defense is this plan is too crazy to be real. So, but once again,
I think
Well,
that's
I
GG's for them.
maybe if you didn't accidentally get stuck in Thailand because you only had $13 to your name, then they might have believed you. But the people in Thailand told on you. They said, "This guy's walking around. He doesn't have any money, and he's got an American passport. He's supposed to have been gone 2 weeks ago."
oh jeez. Oh man. Oh, guess when this story broke?
2 months ago.
Yeah, November. Yeah.
No way.
November.
Yeah.
This is
So
super
when
recent.
I say that this happened in Texas, in Trump's America, this absolutely happened in Texas, in Trump's America.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
All right. Yippee.
yay!
Jesus.
I mean, what kind of an idiot actually sits there and thinks to themselves, yeah, the two of us and a handful of people, we could totally pull this off. Oh, God.
Yeah, let's go kill it. Like,
Yeah, let's go
80,000
kill
people.
87,000 people.
Well, they weren't going to kill all 80,000 people. They were going to breed some of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
well, I mean, but what if some of them put up a fight? You know what I mean? You gotta kill some of them, I feel.
You would think most of them would put up a fight.
Yes.
All of them, actually.
I personally would not want to be captured, killed, or bred.
Yeah.
None of those are on my bingo card. I'm sure it's not on their bingo card
It depends
either.
on who's doing the breeding.
No, still no.
I mean, for me, the worst part is the child pornography charges. That's the part that makes me look at these guys and be like, what the fuck, man? Pardon my language.
It kind of makes you wonder if they haven't already done some stuff,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly. It makes you wonder.
Yeah, especially because they were enacting on these actions, else they wouldn't have gotten arrested. That's the craziest thing to me, where they're saying, well, this plan is too crazy, so like that's not a good excuse. It shouldn't have been a plan. It shouldn't have it shouldn't have gotten out of the group chat. Exactly. Like you said, it sounds like a couple of guys in the basement. These are some of the more f***ed up people. Excuse my language.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these guys are obviously very screwy, and there's jokes that you wouldn't make and whatnot in front of other people. That's fine. Whatever. If you aren't hurting anyone, fine. But if you're gonna do some messed up stuff, or you're talking about messed up stuff like that, like
and
that's too far.
Planning to do it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's more than a plan. They were acting on it. They were actively trying to recruit their homeless army. Like it was more than a plan at that point.
When you're involving kids, I just have no empathy anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I really don't. Like you're an idiot. You're gross, and I don't mess with that.
I think they're packed up for good.
Just out of curiosity,
I would hope so.
Their homeless army. Do you think that they would go around calling themselves homies?
Yeah.
Or the bums?
Yeah. All right, everybody. That is our story. And yay for Tab. Tab got it right.
Yay.
And Keeg and Lucy now need to redeem themselves. So.
Oh, I usually get it wrong.
Does Tab get like a certificate that they can put on on the wall?
Tab gets my respect.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Tab, you've earned more respect.
Yay.
The little plus sign just appeared over my head.
So many achievables.
That's a deep cut.
All right, everybody. If you like that story and you want to hear more, then why not give us a subscribe, however you're hearing this. We're on YouTube. We're also on
Spotify.
We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere where you could get a podcast, that's where we are. Tab and Keeg, once again, tell us, where can people find you on the internet?
Literally everywhere, same as you. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Again, anywhere you could find a podcast. Yep. We're on YouTube, Midnight Oil Pod, and we stream on Twitch under Midnight Oil Entertainment every Sunday at 11 p.m. EST.
Right.
And it's a good time. I recommend coming to the Twitch streams and then rewatching the edited content because it's just that good.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching these.
And it's getting better. We've only done 7 episodes. We skipped last week. I was not feeling good. I had this messed up thing on my lip. It was just all awful. I felt like I was swallowing Lego bricks. But yeah, it was bad.
So he says. In actuality, he was out recruiting a homeless army.
That's what he was doing. He had that trip to Washington,
It's
D.C.
true.
And,
We're tight knit.
Yeah. Not to take over an island, just to subscribe.
Or just to have an army.
Yeah.
Just to have an army for whatever reason.
Just in case. Just in case.
Tell all your friends to steal people's phones and subscribe to Midnight Oil.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, everybody. With that being said, please keep in mind, this is an independent podcast. It's just us. We're not part of any, groups or anything like that. It's just us. So if you'd like to support us, then why not run over to our merch shop at crojandesigns.com. There you could get all kinds of really cool stuff to celebrate Pixie in all of her glory. You could also find some designs with like some weird dragon skull on it for some reason. I don't know why you'd want that. But anyway.
But there's also comic book stuff. There's horror stuff.
There's links.
Not just
there's links to the other
podcast.
shows, and there's links to the other projects that Crojan works on. But yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you to Midnight Oil for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
No
that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We will see you on the next episode. And until then,
keep it real.